It's time to stop. It's time to look out for each other in the distance. Time to stare humanity in the eyes. To take a break for the world. It's time to stop. Time to make a pause so we can play again. To think of everyone and meet no one. To reset, recenter, switch off, to move on. Time to change our little world. To calibrate the path of mankind. It's time to stop. We are meant to connect and we are stronger together. But separated, we are today more united than ever. And for now, our main strength is to be apart. It's time to stop. Nature, landscapes, beaches, and monuments aren't going anywhere. They will still be there waiting for a better time to be lived. And we must do the same for a while. It's time to stop. The perfect time not to visit anything. Sometimes to rise is to stand still. It's time to stop. Stop and think of ourselves. Think of everyone else too. It's time to stop and refocus as a whole for all. It's time to understand and respect our times. Respect one another. The faster we stop, the sooner we will bond again. It's time to dream of those amazing days to come. For when those days arrive, we will say again.
Aloha and good afternoon or good evening from Hawaii. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz for livestream.travel and eTurboNews. Today we're celebrating something very special. It's all part of our Launch for World Tourism Network. And this is a very exciting week for us. We're launching a new organization you're all now part of. And to find out more, if you're not yet a member for World Tourism Network, just go to WTN.travel, WTN.travel. If you click on Launch Events or the banner for launch, you find this event and many more. Tomorrow morning, actually, we have 2 more events coming up today or tomorrow, depending where you are. And tomorrow on December 9th, we have our official launch event you shouldn't miss. And December 10th, we have our keynote panel with the and our special guest is Her Excellency Maya, the Minister for Tourism for Bahrain, and she's running to be the next Secretary General for the United Nations World Tourism Organization. So we're excited for these 2 events as well. And now, without further ado, I wanted to first, I see many of you are joining us from parts of the world where it's really the middle of the night. And this really shows commitment to our industry. I'm absolutely impressed for the many of you on this platform now. We'll be live streaming this on all our eTurboNews website, on WTN live stream, on social media, and you will be able to find repeats of this event till the end of the month. And it's also going to be archived on World Tourism Events, and it's archived, of course, on the WTN channel. Before we officially start, I also wanted to recognize my partner in World Tourism Network, Dr. Peter Talo, who's joining us from Texas. Thank you for Peter for being part of it. And
thank you.
Peter and we started this organization out of the rebuilding.travel discussion, and we're all excited that we're now getting this into a good structure. Without further delay, I'd like to give everyone a very special welcome to our guest of honor, and the host of this event is Louis D'Amour. Louis D'Amour is a good friend, and he's the founder of the International Institute for Peace through Tourism. I'm sure all of you know the International Institute for Peace of Tourism. And if you think about peace and tourism, you will think about Louis. This is the man of peace. And Louis, you're so much needed in these worlds. And what you've done with this organization really is absolutely amazing. That's why we actually gave Louis our first award, Hero Award. And so we're glad you're one of our heroes, together actually also with Diana, who's here, and she is the IIPT president for the Caribbean and has our own community tourism. And so many of us, I don't want to just go and recognize everyone, but it looks like we're among friends here. And I wanted to turn it over to the moderator who will take charge of this event. This is Fabio Carboni. He's joining us from Italy. And I think you're titled, you're president for IIPT Italy. Is that correct? Welcome. You have to unmute yourself, Fabio.
Yeah, I'm ambassador at large of the hello, good evening, or good morning to everyone. I'm ambassador at large of the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism and founder of the chapter in Iran.
Perfect. Welcome.
Yeah.
And yeah, we give it over to you. You're the host, and it's all yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Jürgen. First of all, of course, I would like to thank you for the for this welcome and to give us the space. Immediately welcome the proposal of the panel, and of course at this point I would like to thank all the panelists that are here today for this important gathering, because let me tell you that the idea here was exactly what you said, which is have a gathering among colleagues and among friends, because I'm actually one of the last person that joined the IPT officially, but I can tell you that today is going to be an amazing day of discussion among people that are there. Of course, Lou D'Amore, but people that are there from the very beginning. So they will have a lot to tell about the past, the present, and the future. So we're commemorating this 35 years of peace through tourism. The title is The Way Ahead. So the main idea is exactly this: colleagues and friends gathering together, talking about what we did in the so far, and what we are going to do in the future. So I also don't want to take too much time. I'm going to talk about my own experience in the end, but before, of course, I would leave the stage to Louis D'Amore. Small presentation of he's the founder and president of the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism. As you were saying, he's been instrumental in promoting the travel and tourism industry as the world's first global peace industry. He founded the IIPT in 1986. But even after this, 1992, following the UN Conference on Environment and Development, what we know as a Rio Summit, he developed the world's first code of ethics and guidelines for sustainable tourism for the Canadian tourism industry. So a person that really is a pillar, not only for us that we are in the middle of the debate on tourism and peace, but really a pillar for a form of tourism that is what we should aim at. Lou taught us something that is for me and for many of us, for all of us, was like a lighthouse to follow. That is this idea, the higher purpose of tourism. So I think that he opened a new horizon to many of us. So I don't want to take more time. I want to leave the floor to him and thank him for everything. Lou is
Fabio, and hello everyone. I see so many good friends there. It's good to see you all. Thank you, Fabio, for organizing this. I'd like to say that Fabio may be one of the most recent active members of IIPT, but it's not so recent. It's at least 3 years. And Fabio has been very, very active, speaking at different conferences about peace through tourism, setting up the Iran chapter, which has been very active and very enthused about the possibilities of peace through tourism. And we're at a time in the Middle East now with the additional peace treaties that have been signed that tourism can truly play a key role in the Middle East, and Iran should be part of that. Fabio has been doing all he can to make that come to fruition. I'd also like to go and mention that Fabio also put in place the first online peace through tourism course this past year, which was very, very successful. And we hope to have another program of peace through tourism in the year to come. Thomas, I'd like to just say to Thomas, we've known one another for about 20 years. I think I was Thomas's first advertising client in 2001. we bought a $100 ad for our conference in Assisi, Spirituality and Tourism. And we certainly had a good return on investment from that $100. We've been very good friends ever since then. Thank you very much, Thomas. And thank you for hosting us.
And Louis, may I just real quick, for those that don't know under Thomas, Louis, all my old friends know me under Thomas, because when I first moved to the United States in 1982, 84, I went by my middle name, what is Thomas, because I had to spell my name every 5 minutes. For a few years ago, I started going back to my real name, Jürgen, because now people in the US are getting a little bit more sophisticated and can actually announce it. So I'm the same person, and thank you, Lou. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, so I know you as Thomas. And I'd
Louis,
like
I call him Thomas also, and he's my business partner.
Great. I would also like to thank Dr. Taleb Rafai, even though he's not with us. He had planned to be with us, but something must have happened. Taleb has been very, very supportive of IIPT as chairman of our International Advisory Board, and certainly all during his 8 years as Secretary General of the UN World Tourism Organization. I have great respect for Taleb, not only for what he's done for IIPT, but what he did for the tourism industry. Prior to Taleb, WTTC and UNWTO saw one another as competitors. Taleb changed all that with David, the head of WTTC at the time, David Scalzo, and they also joined forces with Pata, Mario Hardy, and the three of them were known as the Three Musketeers, and they unified the leadership of the tourism industry like it never has been unified before. So I'd like to thank Taleb for all of that. We're currently facing some very, very difficult times. There's no question about it. Yesterday, we commemorated the 79th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. 2,400 military persons and civilians were killed at Pearl Harbor. At 9/11, we lost 2,977 persons. This past week in the United States, 15,000 persons passed due to the COVID-19 virus. That's over 2,100 persons a day. So it's truly a tragic situation. But in this context, we still have to be positive. The Chinese have a word for crisis. It's Wei Ji. It consists of two characters. The first one meaning danger, and the second one opportunity. So even in these difficult times, there are some good things that have happened. CO2 levels are the lowest they've been in many years. Humanity's ecological footprint is less than it has been in a number of years. A number of Zoom conferences have been held. Thomas has organized many of them, looking at rethinking tourism once we're over with the pandemic. So these are all positive things. And I might mention that historically, IIPT exists because of a crisis that existed in 1985-86. In those years, terrorism peaked. Most of it was aimed at the travel and tourism industry. I think many of you will remember the Pan Am hijacking, the Achille Lauro affair, and many other similar incidents. Well, I first started promoting the idea of a conference on peace through tourism at the first Travel Outlook Forum held in Canada. That was in the year 1982 in Toronto. I was asked to be the keynote speaker as I was the futurist to the tourism industry in Canada at the time. And I concluded the talk by suggesting that the tourism industry in Canada get behind the initiative of Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, who was in his final year, and he was traveling to each of the capitals of Europe and other countries, talking with leaders about promoting peace. And I thought it would be a perfect thing for the tourism industry to get behind. But the response I received was, we should focus on things we have control over. And so the idea was dismissed. I continued lobbying leaders of the industry in Canada for the next 2-3 years, and the response was, what's tourism got to do with peace? Peace, that's government's job. And that's the baseline with which we started. The crisis 1985-86 opened the door. Again, as the futurist of the tourism industry, my consulting firm had a project called TourScan, which did ongoing studies on the future of tourism. And the clients for this were each of the provinces of Canada, the government of Canada, Air Canada, via rail. And in that context, we did an in-depth study of the impact that terrorism had on tourism, the global impact. And clearly it was quite significant, with travel around the world declining. We did that study for our clients. I then wrote a summary of it for the Business Quarterly, which is the preeminent business journal in Canada. And the editor sent a copy of that particular issue to each of the 100 tourism leaders in Canada. And 2 months later, Tourism Industry Association of Canada had its annual conference, and there was unanimity in a motion that Canada host an international conference on peace through tourism. So that is the good that came out of international terrorism some 35 years ago. Similarly, a lot of good can come out of what's happening now by rethinking tourism and the main purposes of tourism, looking at over-tourism and how the leaders of the industry might collaborate in shifting more tourism to countries that can use it for economic and social development. If you look at where tourism is mostly received. It's primarily in Europe. And Europe is also the region of the world that has exceeded its ecological footprint. So the more that goes on in Europe, the more it exceeds its ecological footprint. A number of cities of Europe, Venice, Barcelona, also have over-tourism. How can we strategize to get more of that tourism to developing countries? And as developing countries, Africa, South America, and others that have an excess ecological capacity. So they not only can support more tourism, but they can use more tourism socially and economically. What can we do to move the future of tourism post-pandemic in that direction? I'd also like to, well, at this point, if I can ask Markley to give his intervention, and then I would like to continue with what I would like to say, but it would follow historically with what Markley will be saying. Markley?
Okay. Just to thank you very much, Lou. I would just quite briefly introduce Markley. Wilson is a IIPT member of the IIPT board of directors. He's director of international marketing for New York State Tourism, and in the IIPT is a board is member of the board of directors. Thank you very much. Also, this is another figure that has a lot of time inside the organization, and for sure can share with us great memories about this experience. Thank you, Markley. The floor is yours.
Please unmute yourself, Markley.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm really happy to be with all of you. And following on what Lou just said, I'm going to start talking about virus. All viruses are not bad. In fact, if we did not have them in our gut, none of us would be alive. I got infected by a virus in Vancouver when I attended a conference organized by IIPT, where they presented the pros and cons and benefits of socially and environmentally responsible tourism. I was very touched and impressed with what I heard, and I am still suffering from that good virus today. At the time, I was the director of marketing for the Caribbean Tourism Organization, which at that time was an association of 29 Caribbean islands. The ministers of tourism were working together to promote tourism to the region collectively. And at the end of the conference, I told Lou that I would be in touch. And I was, because what I did was to invite him to the annual conference of the Caribbean in the Bahamas to present to the ministers and leaders of tourism of the Caribbean the subject of socially and environmentally responsible tourism. That was the very first time. In addition to Lou introducing the subject, which did meet some resistance, I also invited Rapnan Lapnapala, who at that time was responsible for PATA in the United States. And he presented also on the things that they were doing in that region of the state of the planet. In addition to that, I invited Stanley Selengut, who was in charge of Maho Bay, which without a doubt was the leading ecotourism property and project in the Caribbean. He was way ahead of his time. And by the time he was finished, combined with what they had heard from Lakshman and Lou, there was much more interested and awareness of the values of tourism that not just generates revenue, but contributes towards the upliftment of culture and the environment. Going fast forward, I learned today that between 2002 and 2018, the Caribbean Tourism Organization has had 12 conferences on socially and environmentally responsible tourism. I also learned today that for many years, the Caribbean Tourism Organization has retained an employee whose title is Sustainable Tourism Specialist. So Lou, your virus has spread without a doubt in the Caribbean. My stint with the Caribbean Tourism Organization was 3 years only. After that, I formed a consulting company which helped places develop plans to increase tourism. And who was my first client? CTO. They hired me to put together the details for a successful first conference on ecotourism. I also joined IIPT in a project which we were assigned by the Canadian International Development Agency to identify projects that represent socially responsible tourism in a number of Caribbean and Central American countries. We went to Trinidad, then we went to Barbados, and then we went to Jamaica. And in Jamaica, I introduced Lou to a lady who I love and honor and respect. The last name is Pike, McIntyre Pike. She is without a doubt a beacon for the spreading of our good virus. After Jamaica, we went to Belize, then Guatemala, then Costa Rica, which is a leader in protecting and respecting nature. And that concluded the tour. But in addition to working on that project as a consultant, I was hired by many groups and companies to spread the virus. I was hired by the Oglala Lakota Sioux Nation in South Dakota, which was known for its alcoholism, unemployment, and all sorts of unpleasant problems, which I know we all understand. The task was to work with them to devise some way in which they could generate tourism to help with their unemployment problem. It meant living with them. It meant getting to know them. I'm not quite sure if they benefit more than I did, but we did together end with a proposal on some action that could be taken to introduce tourism in a way that would help with the unemployment problem. In 1992, long time ago, Belize started to attract visitors. The year before that, their leader, who was in power for a long time, died. And when he was in power, he was against tourism. The new leaders decided they wanted to change things around. I was invited by the US government, upon the request of the Belize government, to go there as a consultant to figure out why the Belizeans were against tourism and why the government was having so many difficulties generating tourism to the country. It meant spending time with the people at all levels, conducting research, and that led to me presenting an ongoing program that will enable the Belizeans to benefit, get involved with, and be leaders in tourism. I also, during that period, had a Belizean female leader of a company shadowing me, and she was assigned to carry on after I left. And that certainly was significant in laying a foundation for the successful ecotourism business that Belize is benefiting from. I was also hired by New York University to spread the virus and spent 6 years teaching ecotourism at the university. And of course, as Lou said, I am a member of the board. Very quickly, I just want to mention my current job, which I have had for 21 years now. And it's amazing how things change. This time last year, I was running an office in London, an office in Germany, an office in Australia, and 5 offices in China, all for the purpose of increasing tourism to our city and our state. And I am privileged to be working for a brand that is probably the most popular tourism brand in the world, and a state and city which is without a doubt the #1 tourist destination in the country. The way in which I have been able to spread the virus while in this job include changing the heart from, the I Heart NY from red to green, and an entire program highlighting the fact that while there is skyscrapers in the city, there's a tremendous amount of green in the state. And that was accompanied by promoting ways in which people could enjoy nature in the state. I created a responsible tourism guide where the only places or activities that were allowed to be in the guide were those which could prove that they were doing something that was either helping people or helping the environment. And then we promoted visitors to go to those places. I created bird watching programs. Sandy Hook destroyed 346,000 homes in New York State. Absolutely horrible flood. I was able to get a company that specializes in responsible tourism to bring visitors to the fancy Waldorf Astoria for a week, and 1, 2, or 3 days of that week, they would pay to go and help clean out houses, because there is a segment of the market that has a great desire to contribute and will pay for the privilege of contributing. I can continue with my work linked to promoting the outdoors, enjoying the outdoors. But in a nutshell, I am without a doubt the lead employee in our office that is spreading the virus of tourism that respects people and respects the planet. So I thank you, Lou, for infecting me, and I thank you, colleagues, for sharing in this wonderful virus.
Thank you very much, Markley. I don't know if you are talking about the virus that Lou is infecting all of us with this. So don't know if Lou want to add probably probably something to this, because you told you want to add something in the end.
Yeah, I just might mention very briefly the study that Mark Lee mentioned, and that was funded by CETA, the Canadian International Development Agency. That was probably the first study on the potential of tourism in contributing to poverty reduction, in addition to the socially and environmentally responsible dimensions that Mark Lee mentioned. And it took me several months to lobby CETA to get that study. It was after the first global conference, which gave IIPT a lot of credibility, but still development agencies had no respect for the tourism industry, to put it bluntly. The tourism industry was seen as a frivolous industry by all the development agencies at the time. It was known as the 4 S's: sun, sea, sand, and sex. That was the image of tourism at the time. Following on that study and continuing efforts made by people like Mark Lee, who received the virus, IIPT started planning for its second global conference, which was in Montreal. And the theme of that conference was building a sustainable world through tourism. As we were 2-3 months away from the conference, after having promoted it and developing the program for it, I received a call from the World Bank, a vice president by the name of Dr. Demba Ba. And like I mentioned, tourism still at this time was seen as a frivolous industry. The World Bank had funded some hotel projects, but received a lot of criticism for it. And they got out of the tourism industry, and none of the other development agencies would touch it. But Demba says the kind of tourism that you're promoting with your conference is the kind of tourism that the World Bank wants to get involved with. He came to the conference, was one of our keynote speakers. We developed an excellent relationship with the World Bank for the several years that followed. I was invited to speak at several of their conferences. World Bank executives spoke at a number of our conferences, including conferences in Africa, where it was particularly important. And that had led in turn to other development agencies beginning to consider the importance of tourism. The next one was DFID, Department of Foreign Investment Development of the United Kingdom. And they introduced a program, Tourism for Poverty Reduction, in 1999. And since then, other organizations, as you know, have gotten into it. UNWTO included in 2003 with their STEP programs, Sustainable Tourism to Eliminate Poverty. And that was spearheaded by a good friend of Thomas's and mine, Madam Do from Korea. I think that is sufficient from me for now. If you want to go on to the other speakers,
Yeah.
Fabio.
Perfect, Lou. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now let me introduce and welcome Ajay Prakash, is founding president of the India chapter of the IPT. Ajay has almost 40 years of experience in the travel and tourism industry, an amazingly nice person, which once again is from the very beginning. From the very beginning in the IPT, or he's following the IPT for a very long time. So, Ajay.
Yeah, Fabio, I lost you there for an instant, but I'm back.
Sorry?
I said I lost you for an instant because I have a patchy connection. I'm being a little village outside Mumbai, but I'm back. So, yeah, carry on.
So we can pass to the next speaker, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah. Now I can hear you. Yes. Oh, okay. I think he has some problems. If I think that if he's not going to join us, oh, he's here. Ajay?
There he is. There he is. Okay, we got him.
Okay. Perfect. You want to create some suspense. I say that you are very nice. So you're a very nice person. So you want to confirm that this.
Thank you,
Okay.
Fabio. Thank you, Logan. And it's lovely. It's lovely to have this group of people who believe in something who started 35 years ago. I can tell you that my meeting with Lou was it was a while in coming, but I do believe it changed my life in some ways. In 2015, we founded the India chapter.
Jürgen, I don't know, but I think that he's having.
I think we lost him.
Serious problems. Yeah. But with the connection is not good.
No, he's back. He's here. He's back.
Yes. I can see.
Yeah, what happens is so in these 5 years, I mean, what we've done, I think, thanks to the groundwork that Lou had laid, we managed to actually see the whole purpose of IIPT, to my mind, and I think Lou agrees, is to raise awareness about the power of tourism as a tool for peace. Equalizer, to promote greater gender equality, to look at better living conditions, to heal wounds of conflict, and there are no better forum for getting this kind of information or belief out than either the IDB or the World Travel Market. And both of those organizations as well of IIPT. So some of you might know that we did 3 editions of the Celebrating Her Awards, which looked at women in the world of tourism or hospitality or travel who've gone beyond business as usual. And at the WTM, we did the Ambassadors of Peace program, where we, of course, recognized Dr. Talib Rifai as a global man of peace. And along with that, the 2 other people that Lou mentioned, Mario Hardy and the WTC chairman at that time. So we actually got all the diplomats in Delhi together and called Diplomats for Peace. It was maybe 100 diplomats representing about 78 countries on the same platform. And what we've been trying to do is something that we all owe to Lou, is talk about how tourism could be, especially in a time like this, everybody's tourism on bubbles. That we reinvent the way tourism is perceived. The higher paradigm of tourism that Lou talks about is something that needs to be
Jürgen, unfortunately, I think the best thing is go ahead with Diana.
Right. Yeah,
Huh?
I think so too.
Yeah. So I'm well, anyway, it's live and can happen. Let me just, Diana, a few seconds to introduce you. Diana McIntyre Pike is internationally recognized as the pioneer of community tourism, which is already extremely important. But is a president and founder of Country Style Community Tourism Network, Villages as Business, and finally president of the International Institute for Peace to Tourism Caribbean chapter. And Diana has a presentation for us. Thank you very much, Diana, for joining us. And well, the stage is yours. Thank you very much.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect, yes.
great. I just wanted to say how excited I was that this forum has been created, because Ludo Moore is one of our mentors of tourism in the way it should be done. And we started community tourism and named it over 45 years ago. And when he met me, and thank you, Markley, for introducing me to Lou, because Markley knew me from the Caribbean Hotel Association days when I was the small hotels chairman. And I'll never forget when I went to Markley and said, how do I do something with the small hotels committee, because it was only 3 persons there. And he looked at me and he gave me the greatest compliment, which I've never forgotten. And it's going to be in my book that I'm writing. Markley looked at me and says, what you need to do is to identify a Diana in every island. I'll never forget that. Thank you, Markley, because that really motivated us and we had a successful thing going. I was invited, my journey started with Lou in 1994 for the Montreal conference, when he invited me to do a presentation on community tourism and the future of community tourism with my small hotel that I operated, the Astro Country Inn in Jamaica in the mountains. And, you know, he was so impressed with what we said that he decided to create the first chapter outside of North America with us, the Caribbean chapter. And that was 26 years ago. Thank you, Lou. And I've been the president. And then he decided to set up the IPT, International Community Tourism Network, and asked me to be the coordinator. So what we have done with that is that we have set up a network, because I'm a networker, with our organization, the Country Style Community Tourism Network. And this organization has created the Villages as Businesses program as a support for the success. And it has embraced the IPT Peace Communities, Peace Villages program. And it has been a huge success, because we've done training all over the Caribbean. But what we're doing is helping people to recognize the cultural heritage and, you know, recognize that they have assets that are their lifestyle, and organize themselves and participate in a market network. And we have done that very successfully with people who thought they had nothing in their community. And, you know, it covers the heritage, the environment, the culture, the craft, and it's so exciting to see the mindset change of people and we don't need to create attractions and we don't need to have costly infrastructure, because we have already there. We just need to make people aware. And this one is in Trinidad, when I was asked to do a development of Villages as Businesses program there. And it was a huge success in Lupino, and they now call it Country Style Lupino, which I was very happy. And they're all members of the IPT, International Community Tourism Network, along with us. And then we show them how their schools and churches can be a part of the product. We have TUI, which is the largest operator in the world, that were so excited to bring their visitors, their guests, to enjoy a community in Jamaica, in the resort areas, to go to the school, go to the hairdressing salon. And these are pictures in between Trinidad and Jamaica. And, you know, the music and the dancing, all of it is not set up for visitors. It's what they do, and they incorporate it. And then we have the food and cuisine. Oh my gosh, that is a I have people wanting to do a cuisine tour where they have the appetizer in one village and the main course in another village, and then the dessert in another village. And on the right here, we have the bami making, where the guests get involved with making the bami, which is made from cassava. And I felt good that that particular lady who does it was invited down to Dominica to set up the bami business there, which is great. Then we have the heritage, you know, Marcus Garvey Fair, all of this goes on. And then we have the honey making business, and we got Sandals Foundation involved, where their guests decided to, 600 guests who came into a community. And what they did was they built the beehives for the beekeeping business that you see here. And they also set up the basic school roof. And those 600 guests are now friends of that village ongoing. And so that a relationship has been established. And then during the training we did in Trinidad, they set up a chocolate business. During the 5 days of training, I was amazed. And they also did a water business. These are just examples of the hairdressing salon and so on. This is what visitors go for. They love that. They love to see what the people are doing and then what support they can give. So basically, the benefits are there: direct business support, return business. The visitors become market ambassadors. And we have now the Jamaican and the Caribbean diaspora saying they want to now develop the program further for villagers business for the Caribbean. We're right now setting up an MOU. But I want you to know that whatever we're doing, the IIPT is a part of. We're not leaving out the IIPT, because the IIPT, Mark calls it a virus. Well, I'm overwhelmed with the virus. That's for sure. I just love what the IIPT is about. And we're trying to set up a community tourism trust fund. And now in each village, we have a steering committee that we set up. This picture is in St. Eustatius when we train them there, and they're so excited because they can plan their way forward without having to depend on the government, to depend on themselves once they've identified their assets. And then this is our presentation in Trinidad. And then we have a project where they have to write about their community and themselves. And this is them making a presentation about their community. They found out things about their community they didn't know, and about their family. And then we have an Academy for Community Tourism, and we have advanced BTEC certified training in association with the University of the West Indies, Open Campus. We now have an entrepreneurship training, which is certified, and we are going to be doing community tourism study tours for 21 from January. And you'll hear more about that. And we give them marketing support. We develop brochures for the communities as they get themselves organized, and they can do their marketing. And then we have now the formation of the Manchester Peace Coalition in 2030. Now, Lou is very excited about that, because we had a conference for the IIPT Caribbean in Mandeville, which is in the mountains, 2,000 feet, 600 meters above sea level. And we invited Lou, of course, to be our guest speaker. And then he was introduced to Dr. Clifton Reed, who was in charge of the Book Spark. And everything emerged after that. They were so impressed with what Lou had to say that we set up the first IIPT Peace Park in the Caribbean, called in Brooks Park. And it was paid for by the local government there, because they really liked what was being done. And we now have the Mandeville, which is the town, as the first peace town in the Caribbean. And we have done together, we have set up many other peace villages throughout the Caribbean. I won't go into all that, but this is Lou. Lou worked for, Lou came and planted trees with me for Peace when we had the official launch of the Peace Park. And this is Lou with us. That's our main committee for the Peace Coalition. And the Peace Coalition was official launch in 2016 at a peace breakfast ceremony. And our vision is that we want to be a place of peaceful and holistic living, and to reduce domestic violence, promote better parenting, reduce school dropouts, support uniform youth groups in Manchester, and income generation projects in the target communities. Sorry. We have the Jamaican diaspora on board. One is making connections work, and they have put together this mission for us: transforming local communities, inclusive, peaceful, caring, and enterprising neighborhoods. I'm not going to read all of this, but you can read it. It's a collaborative leadership and management delivery system. And it is really condensing everything that we're about. And this is at the Peace Park. You see, they have the symbol of the IPG there. We're the only one that's done it in the Caribbean. We're in Barbados. We've set up the Barbados Community Tourism Network, again, in association with IPG Caribbean. I see that we have here Marcia Brandon, who is one of our main partners. She represents us with her organization. And I hope she'll get a chance to say something, because she's fantastic. And then Lupino, Country Style, and Jamaica has been branded the home of community tourism by Lou, the IPT. And we have endorsed that community tourism is community development through tourism. And we're trying to encourage our government to go that route. We're not developing communities for tourism. We're developing communities for themselves to do businesses, export business, and so on. But visitors like coming to those communities. So that's how tourism can give it support. And we're setting up community tourism centers in Jamaica and the Caribbean. This is the first one we set up, and we have about 2 more we're setting up right now. And those centers provide internet for the communities and visitors, craft, whatever it is that we can showcase. And, you know, it's exciting to see that people are enjoying the fact that they have a center that they can go to and be able to relate to and to market their products. So the highlights really is, you know, like a museum and local craft. We're setting up one in Mandeville now at the Fruit Gallery. And the University of West Indies has endorsed this. And then we have the program that has been endorsed. If you see, we have a logo now with IPT that Lou helped us to organize. The IPT Community Tourism logo is there. And we have different groups, but we want to have a one voice approach for community development through tourism. And we've had many awards, and I'm not going to read all of them, but I think the one that really was fantastic for us is the overall personal contribution, Responsible Tourism Award in 2008, and then the Resilient Award that IPT gave us, and the International Tourism Heroes Award. We'd like to thank those who decided to select me as one of them. And we have a team, a consultant team, and you'll see we have a good team here. And Dr. Marcia Brandon is there, and a number of others are getting involved with the consultant team. So I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity to let you know that the Villages as Businesses program is sustaining and enhancing Caribbean communities through entrepreneurship in partnership with the IPT Caribbean. That is our project, and it is working. And we have people outside of the Caribbean wanting to embrace us. I'd like to highlight a very special person here, Risa Sultani, who has been a tall strength. He's IPT's person when it comes to the IT business and so on. And thank you, Risa, for your support. He set up a very nice website for us, which is visitcommunities.com. It's not on this one because this was a past presentation I'd done. But what I want you to know is that we got funding, Lou, from CEDA for 1 year for community tourism, because they were so impressed with all that we had done. And we also got funding from the World Bank. So I think your virus, as Markley described it, has really created a great sensation. And with your endorsement, it has made us even more accepted internationally. Thank you. I think I'm finished now.
Yes, can you?
Sorry? Yeah, I'm going to move it. Don't worry.
Okay, so
Thank you, Diana.
Yeah.
And Fabio, you have the lead still.
yes, the next panelist will be Diana, Gail Personage, president of the IIPT Australia.
We're going from Jamaica to Australia. This is now a global movement, isn't it? Okay, thank you, Diana.
So, yeah. So, Gail.
Thank you, Fabio, and greetings to everybody from sunny Sydney. It is 24 degrees Celsius, 75 degrees Fahrenheit for those that still work in that heat transaction. And apart from the normal technology glitches, we are up and running.
There you are.
There I am. Well, trying to keep it succinct, Australian chapter, it was conceived by Daphne and Lou in Amman in the year 2000 at the Amman Summit. And there were a couple of Australians there, Daphne Lowe, Faye Alexander, and and Daphne is online with us now, and also Andreas, who I could see his name up. A lovely Greek gentleman, but second home is Australia, and another gentleman called Ian Kelly from Adelaide. When they came back to Australia, it was Andreas and Daphne that again launched and formalized a chapter in Australia. Now we celebrate our 20th anniversary next year. So we're 19 years young at the moment. So how do we take the concept of peace through tourism and the ethics of it and translate it into some sort of materialistic evidence that industry and people could grasp? So we have tended to go to do hopefully some practical things. So we started off to launch over the first several years, 3 national conferences in Australia. And we brought together both the academic and the travel industry people from all the different facets for discussion and case studies on peace through tourism. So that was in the first formative years. It was at the same time that one of the newest nations to be born was East Timor, or Timor-Leste, as it was known. And Australia, of course, had very close connections with that new developing country. And it was a number of our members who worked with the people at Timor-Leste, or East Timor, to help and promote and assist them in forming and developing a tourism product. So that was again, we hosted 2 events in Sydney to promote and trying to help launch East Timor as a tourist destination. We then followed it on, not necessarily in chronological order, but we then followed it with our academic contacts with the University of Sydney. And the first undergraduate program was formed at the University of Sydney in consult with the Peace and Conflict Studies faculty. And they ran for nearly 5 years a summer school for the undergraduate program, specifically on peace through tourism. And Lou and Daphne and a number of the IIPT PT people helped them in formulating the material. to form that undergraduate program. Next came along, we were a bit slow in getting off the mark to, again, how do we show, what is the evidence, how we can materially show what is peace through tourism. And of course, one of the things that we talk about is peace parks. And we've been fortunate, Daphne and I and a number of us, to go to a lot of the international conferences. And of course, the legacy was often a peace park. So not to be undeterred, it took numbers of visits up and down the mountains, and it seemed to go on for 2 years because you're dealing with government, councils, local governments, state governments. But we finally got our first peace park in Australia, and it was with the World Heritage Site at the Blue Mountains in a village called Lura. And that was also officiated by the ambassador from Turkey at the time. And it also commemorated the Great War, of course, of World War I, which we were using that as a vanguard. So that was our first peace park. Took a couple of more years and we got our second peace park at the Sydney Harbour National Park at the heads of Sydney Harbour. So we're at both ends of Sydney as iconic identifications. And funnily enough, it's at a place called Q Station, which is very apt because it was the original quarantine station for Australia during the early part of the 1800s, when people would come to Australia from far and near. They would go into quarantine. It really came into its own after the First World War, and where the soldiers would return. And of course, that was the peace, the Spanish flu, influenza, which was housed there at Q Station. 100 years on, of course, now it is a major accommodation and tourism event centre. And that's where our Peace Park is located, within that facility. And our third project, so we caught up now with 2020, and our third Peace Park, which I also had been working on for a couple of years, was in the capital city of Tasmania, the island state of Australia, which is Hobart, which is its capital. And that is a new development being done on a old industrial waste area. And it's a new specifically built tourism precinct where the future cruise ships would come in and a park, recreational and tourist iconic landscape. And we were able to get a peace promenade to be established within the design. It is still in stage 1. So we got that up and running. And also at the same time, we were able to get Hobart identified and to be accepted as the first city of peace in Australia. So I went down on the 16th of March 2020 for the event on the 17th, but of course, COVID overwhelmed us. So everything was cancelled. I stayed in Hobart for a couple of days. I was still able to see the mayor. There was 2 of us with a photographer. We had a photo op, officially gave them the mayor the plaque. But I think it's the world's best kept secret, because all advertising promotion came to a screaming halt, because also the state government didn't want to be seen to be promoting tourism activity, because I caught the last flight out of Tasmania before they closed the borders, and it became an island state with no entry or exit. So we hope to relaunch that again at the appropriate time next year. So we have 3 peace parks and a 1 peace city in Australia. We also, as a tangible evidence, we launched a year a pilot program, this time with the University of Technology in Sydney. They're the only university in New South Wales that actually run any form now of a tourism degree. They've all been wound down, but they have a specific part of their business degree in marketing. They have a tourism subject. So we were able to launch an IIPT Student Peace Essay Award. It was a pilot program last year. It went very, very well. And the powers that be within the university liked it so much, they wanted to continue the relationship. And they then incorporated the 2020, and it was the first time the concept of an essay on peace through tourism, sustainability, and other areas was incorporated into the actual curriculum, and it was an assessment item. So it is embedded now into the curriculum for the business degree in tourism. So we're looking for ongoing relationships there. One of our other achievements, we were able to work with Lou, of course, and Don King, and we sent a delegation to Jordan at the height of the Syrian refugee crisis. And our delegates there went to the Azquaq refugee camp, and we met with families. We went to a school. We took food, clothing items, and school items, both for fun and for learning purposes. And we spent 7 to 10 days in Jordan. And we wanted to let them know that they weren't forgotten, that the people of the world outside their little camp of 47,000 people that we visited, of which 75% were children, that they weren't forgotten and aren't forgotten. And we extended a genuine hand of peace and friendship with some practical additives to it. Moving on from there, so what is IIPT Australia chapter? We have a couple of coalition partners, of course, and I see that Bridget is part of one of the first coalition partners. We had the World Expeditions, a major tour operator from Australia, and Flight Centre's Travel Group, which was the largest travel agency group, travel agents in the world. And unfortunately, they have been brought to their knees during the last, this year. But their foundation, General Manager Sandra, is also on the Zoom with us today as well. So we acknowledge them for their resilience in staying with us. We've also been actively involved in Indigenous tourism, attending the Australian Indigenous Tourism conferences, and we were also implemental in working with a gentleman who's near and dear to Lou and all of us, a gentleman called Ben Sherman. And we worked with him, and he came to Australia, and the formation of the World Indigenous Tourism Alliance was formed. And that was done at a conference in Darwin. And it was out of that conference was called the Larrakai Declaration. Larrakai is the Indigenous group, Indigenous tribal group in Darwin. So it's the Larrakai Declaration. But we were certainly present, and I was able to give a presentation to the group there to talk about the power of the collective internationalism of everybody coming together. We've also spoken at Ecotourism, the Australian Pacific Asia Ecotourism Conference, and presented both cases on Indigenous tourism and also on sustainable tourism, climate change and peace. And of course, I was able to introduce them to the Lusaka Declaration, which of course is an IIPT signature for us as well. So the future, of course, is the big question. Australia with this COVID is a bit of a gold star, which we take great pride, but of course it's at the expense of the devastation to the rest of the world. Australia has only lost, might I say, but that's used respectfully, 948 souls for the whole of Australia due to COVID. And we are an island continent, which has helped. We have closed off the borders. We are letting people come in slowly. They go into quarantine. It is very compliant, and we have successfully halted or slowed down the spread of the virus, but at a great cost. Although technically, at the end of last week, we were technically out of recession. So we were in recession for 8 or 10 months. Now we're technically out of it. But of course, the tourism industry will be the last to pick up. But the focus now within the tourism industry is domestic tourism. And it is absolutely going beyond everybody's expectations. Australians have been great travellers, 25 million in the population, and we have usually 6 or 7 million that travel outside of Australia every year. Actually, it's higher than that. So we're great travellers. So all those people are wanting to spend their tourism dollar, and it's being regenerated throughout Australia. So we'll be working very hard to work with our domestic partners and to spread the word for some more practical applications. Still working on peace parks in Queensland and still working for them in Melbourne. But our big year will be next year with our milestone 20th anniversary. We're already starting to work the project. And of course, an invitation will go out to all of you to come to Australia with the perfect weather. Thanks, Fabio.
Thank you very much, Gail. Thank you very much. I don't know if you noticed, but when you invited me to to an event, okay, I had to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now this time only for you. In reality,
I've got the best time slot. We've got the best time slot. 2:55.
Yeah, I know the best for you, but it's 4 o'clock in the morning AM here. So
I know. We've got the best time zone and the best weather. What can I say? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Just a joke. It's always very good to see you, and I have a great memory of the event together with the university. Actually, I'm going to show exactly a picture about this later on during my intervention. But now I would like to leave the stage to Reza. Reza is another very important figure for the IPT. Reza Soltani is a marketing psychologist from Belgium, specialized in branding and marketing. He's a founder of a peace festival, bringing people together through music and dance. Co-founder of Chernobyl Peace Tours, and he followed the IPT, supporting us exactly with the let's say digital marketing, communication, and everything that is online basically is in his hands, and good hands, because he really we work together. We talk almost every day, so I can personally say that he make a change online in the page immediately. Like, he's always working. A few days ago, he's now in Laos. A few days ago, we were talking, and at a certain point, I understood that was very late there. And I said, Reza, but what time is there? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why are we working? Go to sleep. So really a great man. We traveled together in Iran. We worked together in Iran. So I'm very happy to introduce him. So Reza, the floor is yours. Thank you very much for everything.
You have to unmute yourself, please.
Good evening, good morning. Thank you, Fabio, for the introductions. Thank you, IIPT team, and especially my dear friend Lou. It is an honor to work with IIPT and with all of you. As Fabio said, I've been involved in the marketing and the branding of IIPT. So I'm not going to talk much about the past or the ideology and the things that IIPT has done. There are the heavyweight people here who has talked about it, and Diana, Lou itself, Gail, and all of you. So I'm not going to talk about that. I think the best is that I talk about the marketing and the branding of IIPT and the new technologies. First of all, when I came to the IIPT a few years back, I think 3-4 years back, started to creating a new website, which was really needed. And as you know, now everything is about online. So we have a new website, now it's a few years, and soon we're going to update it again. I think that's very important part. The other things that I have really focused on was the keyword of the peace through tourism. And before I came in, the focus was on the word IIPT. So it was not the focus of the keyword, and that's very important. And if you go now to the Google, which is the most important things, and you search peace through tourism, that's IIPT, it's coming up the first. It was not like this. But we all know the peace through tourism have been founded and pioneered by Lou and the IIPT, and that was very important to make sure that everybody knows that and stays there forever. So I have done for the online marketing, mailing list, newsletters. We have regularly lots of newsletters we're sending out, and that's the thing. The other things that I've been doing, unfortunately now with the COVID have a bit stopped, is organizing the peace tours. I'm going to share my screen.
Raza, let me make you a co-host, and then you can do that.
Okay.
Just I'm trying to find you here. Oh. How come I don't find you? You don't exist. Oh, it works. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so that's a Chernobyl. So I've been working on, well, first, actually, I forgot. So I'm also a co-founder, as Fabio said, and a founder actually of the Peace Festivals. And we had 2 months ago a very big event for 24 hours. It was a music online, live music online, starting from Los Angeles and ending in Papua New Guinea. And there is a great speech of Lou D'Amour there. I advise you to go and see it. And of course, Peace Festivals and IIPT are partners. What I've been working on is creating peace tours in 3 places. The first is in Chernobyl, which has over 1 million people, and it has been now recognized also by the government and ministry in Ukraine, and is going to continue. That's very important because peace tours, and that's exactly it shows the importance and the value of the work that Diana is doing, because she's bringing the people the tourists to the local people, and meeting each other is very important. When we talk about the peace and through tourism, everybody thinks when you talk about the peace, it should be about not doing war, but that's not only, that's a part of the issue. The conflict resolutions, the discrimination, the racism, the hate, all those things are part of the IIPT and the important things that is doing. And community tourism and things that Diana is doing is exactly those things, bringing people to the locals so they meet each other, the stereotyping and all those issues will be reduced, and it's really helpful. So going back to the peace tours, I've been on 3 projects. The first one is the Chernobyl peace tours, which we are now officially partners. And everybody, when the COVID hopefully soon finish, everybody going to the Chernobyl, which is over 1 million, and it was a very important series in the Netflix, which changed lots of things, and it added few more millions to those visitors. They will receive also our credo, as you see like this, the tourists. So they will become a meaningful tourist. They are not just going to see the sad things there. They're going to think and see the things. What happened? It's not like you just going there, take some selfie and pictures and go and put it on the Instagram. Is going to make you think. And that's very important. That's very important that the people understand the hate, the war, and the importance of the peace. The second, well, I will show some more photos of the Chernobyl. So on these tanks is going to be also the logo of IIPT. Here, this is the kindergarten where that disasters happens. All the children in their sleeps have died, unfortunately. He is one of the first who entered the Chernobyl zones, and Sergei Mirel, and he has been working for many years and writing many books. And he's going to be our tour guide there. So people going to the Chernobyl, they're going to experience the peace through tourism, the real meaning, the peace through tourism, or being a peace tourist. This is the command that it have been destroyed here, so they could launch the bomb. Actually, that's the things. And
Reza, we don't see anything else. We only see the first picture, never again.
Oh,
just for your information.
Can you see that?
We see the same picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's freezing on the never again slide.
So what can be can you
it's on your computer now? You might just want to change. I think you may have the wrong window on your computer you're sharing. You may have this presentation on another window, and then just click on it on your computer. That should do it.
Okay, let me, but I am seeing it by myself.
Yeah, you do, but what you share is only the window what shows never again.
Okay.
You may have to change the window you want to share. So if
yes,
you again on the share screen on the bottom, you see all the windows open on your computer, and just share the one you wanted to share with the person.
Ah, okay. Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. So that's the tank. The IIPT logo will be here as well. That's the, can you see that? That's the kindergarten where the children has all died when the disasters happened.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, that's good. Okay. That's the nuclear bomb launch command room. Actually, that it was destroyed. So here the people could push the button and launch a nuclear bomb, probably. So I don't know if you have seen the corridor. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, this one. I don't. Okay. So everybody is going to enter the Chernobyl. Chernobyl military actually is a military zone, is a closed zone. They're going to see the corridor of the IIPT here. That's very important, and it's going to make the people think, not just going there to take photos and leave. So that's going to be handed to all the tourists entering there. The other things I've been working on it is the Hiroshima. Okay. Okay. Sorry for the.
So you're organizing tours there as well?
Well, yes, we are. Well, you know, there is for the, like for Chernobyl, I've been working on it almost for 2 years. So it's so much administrations, and because those places are not really just a usual tourist places that the, you know, or is in the private hand, or not in the private hands, they are in the government hands. And you know, then is so much bureaucracy and the administration that have to be done. I'm also in talk, and which is almost confirmed, with the city of Hiroshima, and we're going to have, there are now a small peace tours there. It's not really called now peace tours, but there are some tours, but soon there are going to be also peace tours, which also will be with the credo of the IIPT, and that's very important. So we're going to have in Chernobyl, in Hiroshima, and the next one is in the South Korea demilitarized zone. That's going to be also hopefully from the next year, if it's confirmed, which the chances are very good. So we will have a peace tours in 3 places that historically and at the present are in the conflict, and that will make the people think twice before going to the war or any other hateful things. So I think I'm going to stop for now, and I don't know.
That's great, Riza. When do you expect to start the DMZ tours?
That's going to be next year. The government, we are waiting for the approval from the government. I've been also actually organizing with the others seminar and online conference in the South Korea, which you are invited, and you are going to be actually, so I mean Lou Damor, as a representative of the IIPT, and if the corona finished, then it's going to be a big conference and it's not going to be online. But if it continues, then probably in March is going to be the online conference in the South Korea. And then you are invited, and hopefully by that time we can launch the peace tours. And when the borders open and things gets back to normal, then there will be a peace tours there too.
Have you got the permission? Have you got the permission of North Korea as well?
No.
Okay.
I leave that to others. I leave that to the Jürgen to go to North Korea, get a permission.
I didn't vote for Trump. It won't work. I'm sorry.
Okay. And then one more thing is very important also, as Diana mentioned, so we are working very closely together, and we want, and hopefully we will soon, to have also community tours and community tourism internationally, much on bigger level. Of course, she has been doing this for many, many years, and she's the master of that. So that's very important. And we want to have also community tours in different places, which we know that how important it is for the peace building.
That's great, Riza.
Thank you very much, Riza. Thank you. So I can move to the next speaker. Another let me say lovely person, because in the context of this panel, this event of today, I had the opportunity to talk with her for more than 1 hour. It was supposed to be a briefing, but in the end it was a very, very nice conversation. Birgit Troer, she holds a PhD in tourism management and has published in top international academic journals and academic textbooks. She has a long history in travel and tourism, both as in the industry as a practitioner and in academia. Prior to the academic work, she has worked in international airline industry in retail and wholesale, travel agency, in tourism resorts, etc. As the founder of the Cultural Angle, she continues to educate and inspire her audience to view the world around us, within us, from different angles, to act with a thoughtful heart and a caring mind in our aspiration for peaceful travel and peaceful coexistence. What about the link with the IPT? Birgit is a charter member of the International Institute for Peace to Tourism for the Travel for Peace campaign, a member of ICTP, Rebuilding Travel Project, Hope Travel, and a founding member of the World Tourism Network. So thank you very much Birgit, to be with us, and I leave you immediately the floor. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to be here today with all of you, and I've been paying attention to all your various perspectives, and it's always delightful to hear people with such a passion to talk about the concept of peace through tourism. As you just indicated, I'm a bit of an outsider in that sense that I'm not part of the IRPT family per se. However, as you sort of indicated, I have a very strong passion for the whole concept of peace, right from the start, because I've worked in the industry, but also through my academic training and then also through my teaching, which actually work quite strongly in the field of sustainable development and tourism ethics.
Birgit, your voice is very faint. Thomas, can you increase the volume?
Well, actually, Birgit would have to do it on her end. If you can maybe up the volume a little bit on your microphone.
Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay, I think I'll have to move. Yes. I think I have to move right into the screen, so put up with me doing this. All right. As I said, I'm a bit of an outsider of the IRPT family, but the concept of peace per se has always been part of what I have done. Mainly also came through when I was teaching at universities in the area of tourism with a focus on responsible tourism and sustainable development and the notion of ethics. So it is very close to my heart. And how did I come across IRPT? That is an interesting journey, because I have just released my book finally, which is called The Way of the Peaceful Traveler, Dare to Care and Connect. Now, I have written that as a social psychologist, really, as a behavioral scientist in travel and tourism, in trying to promote peaceful behavior and respectful behavior amongst everyone. That is specifically the travelers, always having been considering the notions of impact, negative impact and positive impact of travel and tourism, which involves all the various stakeholders, including the tourists and the travelers. On one side, the demand side, on the other side, of course, the tourism side, which is questionable there as to are they operating on the premise of peace. So we're talking about macro level and micro level. We're looking at politics within, between countries. I think a few people have referred to that. And we're looking at peace within countries. Not to forget, and I think the Credo points that out, peace starts within ourselves. And that's what I have focused on. And I believe that is very important now more than ever, because we're suffering from the impact of coronavirus economically, socially, psychologically, rise in stress levels, rise of disconnect, rise of depression, people not able to travel and connect with loved ones. All of that now as the negative side to tourism or peace through tourism. So my appearance on the scene now with IRPT is somewhat delayed, because the book was supposed to come out 4 years ago, and then I put things on hold for various reasons. Then I had the book ready to come out just as COVID broke out. And I was actually just on my way from Australia via Dubai, where I used to work and live, working there at Zayed University. And then I was stuck in Spain, a beautiful Barcelona, for 3 months on my way into Germany as an Australian citizen, no longer a German citizen. And so I had to experience the whole notion of what it means to be traveling in a non-peaceful world because the borders were shut. And I felt like a foreigner not being allowed back into my own home country. So all of that. So what can I do? I'm not going back to what I have done in the past. I'm really keen to see what we can do now. Where does peace through tourism come into the play of developing and rebuilding travel? I know that IPT has had 2 major programs. One is the Global Peace Card program, and the other one is Travel for Peace campaign, which both of them were launched in 2016 at the 30th anniversary in London, where I was present, and that's where I actually met Lou personally. Incidentally, I think I noticed Bia here online as well, who's also a charter member, I believe, of the campaign. If you're still there, Bia, hello. So my focus is really to try and bring awareness or raise awareness of what peace is. And peace has to start within ourselves. Now, as a social psychologist, I thought, oh, how can I use my insights of travel and tourism to actually teach people or make them aware of capacities that we as human beings have, which one of the major ones is to connect with people. How do we connect? We connect through communication and through emotions, through understanding the cultural complexities of who we are, where we live, and the cultural diversity that we all carry within ourselves and we all share. And the common value within all of that is peace. So where do we go from now with my involvement in IRP? I don't know yet, but I believe that we can do more if we look at different angles, and that's my name of the company, is Cultural Angle. It's a culture of care, the culture of peace, to promote an understanding amongst everybody involved in tourism. That includes the demand side, the travelers, but also the supply side, which from my experience, there is a lack of appreciation of the importance of the values associated with peace, which are linked to the notion of sustainability, or should I possibly say regeneration, because of adding something rather than taking something away from destinations. I think that's where I come in, and that's what I would like to be involved in, to raising that awareness through workshops that I have been doing privately, mainly with people through word of mouth, because travel and tourism is a perfect tool as a context to teach people about emotional intelligence, about themselves, how they feel, learning.
Sorry if I interrupt you, but if you could increase the volume even more, or raise
even more,
or raise the volume,
the
because
maximum.
you're saying extremely interesting things, but I
You
think
can't
people
hear it.
have some problems in hearing you.
If you go to settings and click on audio, then you should see your microphone. You can easily bring it up a little bit.
I'll just try and do that up. Just 1 second. Jim? Nah, come on. And now I've got this setting here, but it just doesn't interact. Bear with me. How's that? Is that better? Is that better?
Well,
That's the maximum I can
it's
have.
probably as good as it gets.
That's
But
the
if you
maximum.
usually, there should be a sliding bar. You can just bring it up.
Yes,
Brigitte,
it's up to 100.
Brigitte, what computer are you using? Is it a Mac
I'm
or
very old PC.
Oh.
Okay, I think it's good as it gets. So we were trying.
Okay, I keep it short. as I just tried to point out, I have just released the book, and it's called The Peaceful Traveler, with the title, of course, very much reflects the Credo's title, The Peaceful Traveler. And that's what we try to promote through the Travel for Peace campaign, I believe was the initial idea of that, to try and get all the industry people involved in sharing the credo and the value system that is inherent in the credo. My approach to talking about peace through tourism is by raising the value appreciation of peace, because underpinning any culture or cultural approach, we're talking about the visual, the things we can see in tourism, which is the heritage buildings, all of that when we go and travel. But underneath that are the value systems. So if we can elevate people's awareness and appreciation of the values that people have and share, harmony and peace, rather than hate, I think Reza just mentioned that word, stereotyping, prejudice, discrimination. Now, that to me is close to my heart, to try and decrease that mindset, which we are now, due to COVID, are actually watching and seeing rising. So I might just leave it at that, because the volume is a problem. And then unless I crawl really into the computer, I don't think I can do any better. So peace through tourism, for me, is raising awareness and consciousness of the value systems on which we operate as travelers and as people in the industry. That is the driving current that we should always remind ourselves of, and everybody around. When we're looking at sustainability, people talk about economic triple bottom line, social impact, economic impact, environmental impact. How can we raise that consciousness? And that's where I would like to be involved. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Birgit. Thank you, Birgit. Sorry, I do not want to interrupt you, of course, but I would like to announce the the arrival of Taleb Rifai. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. I apologize for being a bit late. It's too early here.
Yeah. I apologize. Really, we are participating from all over the world. So yeah, someone had to suffer. So,
Yeah. No problem. There's no suffering.
I'm from Italy. I'm talking from Italy. Brigitte is from Germany. So yeah.
Yes, we're south of Spain. I'm in Spain, so we're in the same boat.
I know. When
I enjoyed listening.
I was sorry for you. Yeah. But thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much.
No problem. No problem at all. No problem. I'm enjoying listening.
Okay. I would suggest this. You were supposed to be the first speaker. I would suggest to finish the panel and then leave it the floor. Okay.
Okay. Good.
So, okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Perfect. Thank you very much, Birgit. It was very interesting. I just have immediately one question for you, because if you can answer to this, they were asking about the book.
All right.
There were people here asking about the book.
Great.
Where they can find the book.
Right. All you need to do is actually type in, or you go to Amazon, type in The Way of the Peaceful Traveler, and it will pop up automatically.
Yeah. Can you write it also in the here in the?
Type it into the chat, hey?
Yeah, in the chat. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, and I will do that. At the moment, the Kindle has only come out, but the paperback should come out within the next few days. I have already posted on my website also activities that people can engage with to promote what I've been talking about.
And Birgit, if you send us this link, we'll be happy to add it to your profile on WTN.travel. And everyone can just go look under Germany, I think you're listed, and find you, and we'll see your link so they can buy the book.
Yes, I mean, as I said, it's just an automatic, internationally global Amazon listing. You can buy it anywhere, and wherever you are, you would just be directed to that. I do believe I have an international link that I could hopefully send you, so that might make things easier. And I didn't even think of that today. Let me just see if I can type it in. But just hang on a second. It's too early in the morning now for me to see.
Doing just very well.
Okay.
Great.
Yes, and even if you just type this into Google, The Way of the Peaceful Traveler, just that, it comes up. You'll find another book that comes up, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, a way back that came out, and I'm glad to see it there because it has very similar notions that I'm dealing with. But you will see further down, there's definitely the link straight away, and that takes you onto my website where you can order it. You click on that link, it takes you to my website. That website then has the link to take you straight into Amazon. So that's probably the easiest. Just type that into Google or Amazon directly, and that takes you there automatically. And it's all there downloadable. Okay? Any questions? Again, send me a message. I'd be delighted to find out more and talk to you all about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Birgit. I'm going to close the panel for this intervention of our friends and colleagues. And I'm going to briefly introduce myself. As I was saying in the beginning, I'm recently joined the IPT in 2018 officially, and so 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and I'm going to share also something that so yes, it was an honor for me, an honor to me to join it, even if it was not on 2018 that I discovered the existence, but I was following the organization, the institute, already many years before. As an academic, I was studying, and the starting point was the debate around intercultural dialogue and the role of tourism to promote intercultural dialogue. This is how I arrived to the IPT, because some reflection that were related to what we study in the university in relation with tourism and intercultural dialogue, tourism and sustainability, and what we have then in the reality. And what we have in the reality, unfortunately, is not something that reflects what we study in the books or what we talk about when we do our papers. We have a kind of tourism that is still irresponsible, unsustainable. So what happened is that remain in my mind as an academic, always remain this important and dangerous gap between our discourse in the university and what was actually happening outside. Lou mentioned the problem of over tourism, for example, which is here before we had the idea of the tourist. When we talk about ambassador of peace, well, we have here tourists in Greece, just taking picture and selfie with the migrants in a camp of refugees, which is not the kind of tourism and the kind of tourists that we want to see. We talk about another kind of tourism. once again, a kind of tourism that we don't want to see, and we work in order to avoid this kind of experience, the commercialization of the misery of people. In India, and Jai can confirm this, but in India, there is a product that right now has more public than the Taj Mahal, and is the slum, the different slums in India. So is more the tourists go more for the slums than to the Taj Mahal, which is incredible, because we talk about tourism and peace, we talk about intercultural dialogue, we talk about tourists as ambassadors and peace, but then in the end, on the field, this keep happening, and more and more and more. And also on the side of the, not only on the side of the demand, but also on the side of the supply is more or less the same thing. We talk about sustainable tourism, we talk about ecotourism, but many times what happened in the reality is that local population, and I was very happy to see the slides of the president of the Caribbean chapter, because what happened actually is that then the local population continue to be explored by those that has these big companies of tour operators or resorts, etc. What happened? Happened that at certain point, I found this great message that came from Louis D'Amore, and I think I'm the only one that, Lou, that can pronounce your name good because I'm Italian. Okay. So I can make justice to your Italian origin. Okay. So, and then in 2017, Taleb Rifai was also in this event in London, and was actually he received an award from the IPT, and I met him. I was honored to. It was a great moment for me because I was already following you, and start this kind of relation, sharing ideas, sharing
Thank you so much.
And everything. And in 2018 arrived this appointment as I had the honor of this appointment as ambassador at large of the International Institute for Peace to Tourism. And from there, I have to say, an amazing adventure. First of all, because I thought, the first things I thought is what an ambassador has to do, because I really felt this strong responsibility, because I recognize myself in the message now. At certain point, be the representative of this message around the world was a huge responsibility, and I really want to do this in the best possible way. I can tell you that I start to follow even courses on diplomas. Today, I belong to the global network of diplomatics, not because I feel like diplomatic in the strict sense, but because I like to learn more and more about the way of communication, about the way people approach also to different countries, to different audience, only because I want to do this. I want to do this job in the best possible way. Here there are just some pictures from some places. I was in Sarajevo here. I was with the colleagues in Bosnia. There I was in Ecuador, in Iran, border with Afghanistan, up there. Going all these places, sharing and promoting the message of peace through tourism. Also online, more recently, here I was with Gael you can see there, and was invited as ambassador of the IPT, and there was this was an event with the university there in Sydney, because they had an award for a student that make a work on the IPT. And in few hours I'm going to have in Italy this event that is about what they call the route tourism. Why am I going to talk there and introduce this event on the tourism of the origins, the identity? Because reflect what is the main idea, the original idea of peace through tourism. That is peace not only in the sense of conflict, but is peace with the environment, peace with the present, peace with the past. So in this sense, the fact of using tourism to reconcile with your own past and go and find out more about your origins, this is part of creating peace through tourism. A second appointment from the IPT was that of special envoy to Iran. And when I talk about this to Lou, I saw really his eyes like sparkling, because he told me, I really want to do this. It's so long that I'm thinking about this. And I was so happy to meet immediately this kind of expectation. And once again, I did my best, and I'm doing my best. This was 2018 already, immediately. Well, I took almost 1 year, and I could establish there the Iran chapter. And we are still working with for example, here you have the Tehran Peace Museum, and one person just connect with us, Narges, that is exactly in two of these pictures. We are partners of the Tehran Museum of the Holy Defense. That is one of the biggest museums in Asia, and an amazing museum talking about the war Iran-Iraq. Here we have some activities. The National Geographic Farsi Persia is supporting us. Here we were invited to join this day that they have in Iran about the interaction with the world. They have a specific day of the interaction with the world, and this is in the poster is the museum. And then we organize inside this museum the International Seminar of Women for Peace through Tourism in Iran, which was amazing because it was a fantastic experience involving this strong figure in Iran that are the women, very, very strong women, and then keep sharing in the Middle East, in particular in Iran, this the message. Here I was with Riza. As you can see, as I said before, we are traveling together through Iran a couple of times. We met each other. It's amazing to work together. And even now, during the pandemic, in Iran in particular, it's being an extremely difficult situation. They are under sanctions, so the situation that is already quite difficult become even more difficult because they don't have access to medicine or equipment the way we do. So extremely bad situation that once again we are there supporting them. And what I think and what I learned in this time, and as a special envoy there in Iran, and now with this, is that what the institute bring is, in particular in this context, is really a strong, big, massive amount of hope to people, to hope where there is no hope anymore. And I feel this make the role even more important. Humbly embrace this challenge, but more important, and give more responsibilities, because people really believe and embrace the message. I would like to share with you something that happened in Tehran. I was there in a small apartment where there was no internet, so in order to work, I used to to go in a small bar that was near the apartment where I was, and basically spend there the days, because I need the internet to work. And one of these days, one of the person of the bar come to me and say, "We are sorry, but we have to tell you that tomorrow we not going to be open. We cannot stay with the door open, because the Ramadan will start, and we are going to have troubles with the police if we keep the door open. So you cannot work." And then he said, "But by the way, what is your work?" And I start to explain what I was doing. And in the end of my explanation, this person went to the colleagues, talk with them, and then come back to the table to me and say, "Look, what you are doing is extremely important for us. Tomorrow, even if the police can create us some troubles, we will be here anyway to let you keep working. So we will be here. If the door is closed, just knock the door, enter, and continue your work. And thank you very much for what you are doing and what your organization is doing." So this was an amazing amount of responsibility, but also an amazing amount of joy for me and for all the group of the Iran chapter, because we were doing actually the right things. And tomorrow we will be with in few hours, we will be in Italy with this association that, as I was saying before, once again, the message of peace through tourism, this time related, as I was saying, to the tourism of the origins. So this was my testimony and my experience. Many and many more stories there are, but I would like to leave the time for the discussion and the second part of this gathering together. But obviously, thank you very much, Lou, for everything, for the trust, and it's being an amazing journey together. Thank you very much.
Bravo, Mario. If you can, there is someone, Thomas knows him, he's a reporter for eTurboNews, Mario Masculo. He's in Rome. He would love to take part in your session.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Thomas, do you have his email?
Yes, I do. I will share it with you. I have your email, and I think he'd be glad to attend.
Yeah.
And an interesting session, Fabio remembers me. When did we go to Iran, Louis?
2008.
2008, and I think we're the first Americans allowed to speak at the Hall of the People. And you had a presentation, Islamic Hall of the People, and you had a presentation on peace to tourism at that time. So
I did, yes. And I pointed out that the president of Iran in 2000 had proposed the UN International Year for a Dialogue Among Civilizations. It was accepted. And then a couple of months later, George Bush, in his State of the Union address, talks about the axis of evil. And there was obviously no dialogue. between the US and Iran. the axis of evil being Iran and two other countries.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Lou, if you agree, I think
Fabio and Thomas, if I might make a suggestion, we've now been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. If we could give Taleb a chance to speak, and then rather than doing part 2 this evening, maybe we could schedule another session if that's agreeable with
I
Thomas.
think that's a great idea, Lou. You can just schedule another session. We have our launch events going on all months, December 30th, and I think this would fit in very well.
Okay, excellent. So we'll be in touch in terms of scheduling it, you and Fabio.
Perfect to me.
Fabio, can you hear me? Just one thing I'd like to say, just a comment on the slum tourism. I was in Soweto a few years. Slum tourism, it depends on the attitude with which it is conducted. Because while I was in Soweto, I spent like 4 or 5 hours over there. And what did I do? I had a few guys. We ate some food which was cooked locally. Because at the end of the day, you have to realize, and we all know, that the things that actually are far, far superior, far more numerous than the divisions. So I have seen people go into the slum and come out because it's a bustling, activity-oriented place. Those people are living there. They've made their homes there. They've got their businesses there. How it is conducted. If it's done with the sensitivity, which takes local sensibility.
Well, I think we lost him again.
Yeah. No, but I think that the message was quite clear. Me personally, I still do not see this kind of practice as sustainable. They do the same things in they do the same thing in Brazil, and, but I hope that Ajay can enter again so we can have this debate, because without him, but I understood the point. What Ajay was pointing out. Personally, I still think that also if we see the profile of the person that are the normal consumers of this kind of tourism, I don't believe this really bring a positive contribution and the long-term positive contribution to the place. Anyway, unfortunately, Ajay is not here. Okay.
Fabio, just before Taleb speaks, may I say to Taleb that at the start of the session when I spoke, I wanted to thank you for all that you do for IIPT as chairman of our International Advisory Board, and all that you did while you were Secretary General. It's very, very much appreciated. And also appreciated is what you did for the entire tourism industry. The way you allied with the World Travel and Tourism Council and PATA, David Scalzill, and
Mario Hardy.
Mario. The three of you turned the industry around and did a fantastic job in steering the industry in the proper direction. And we all thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Lou. Thank you, Lou. You're a person I respect very much. I look up to. I truly do. I still remember the days when we first met in Amman, Jordan, in the year 2000. I was not even involved in tourism at the time. I was not Minister of Tourism. I was in a different portfolio. Louis came and they had this very big meeting. We had just finished a few years before that peace treaty between Jordan and Israel. And I believe, Lou, you were trying to celebrate that and raise awareness about the connection to tourism and peace. I did not understand anything at the time. I came just as a friend and a colleague of the then Minister of Tourism, Akil Murtaji. You remember that well.
Yes.
I still remember you then.
Yeah.
We were both very young at that time. But time has made us better, I hope. Now, what I want to say is the following. You and your organization have done a great job, really. I mean it. I'm not complimenting you here at all. I believe that peace through tourism can be achieved simply by facilitating people travel. No obstacles should be put in the face of travel. Let things go naturally. We need to encourage more people to visit, more people. But we also have to do that and create the right circumstances for people to be where they are. That's what sustainability is all about. When we talk about sustainability, many people just think it to the environment. That's not right. Environment is very important. Sustainability is about people. It's about creating connections between people. It's about sustaining life on Earth. That's what it is. And life cannot be sustained on Earth if there is war and there is animals. If we simply have people meet with each other, that's all what it takes. What it takes is somebody sitting there, having dinner with some local family, listen to their music, listen to their songs, listen to their dreams, meet them. Then they'll go home with no stereotypes about the place that you visited at all. I have traveled the whole world. I'm a better person, definitely. When you travel, you become a better person. I always keep saying this. Now, what is the right circumstances? But before that, we have to say that travel must be free. Travel is a human right today. It's not anymore just an elitist activity of a British or a German or a Swiss traveler going to India or China, coming back and writing a book about them. It's people moving around. The more people move around, the better this world becomes. No wonder we have problems from your part of the world, Louis. When 65% of the people in the United States don't have passports, they've never traveled. And those that have passports, 2/3 of them go only to the Caribbeans. They sit on the beaches and the shores, they don't interact with people and they go back home. That's the problem. The problem is people should need to travel more and they need to travel the right way. Now, the right way is up to us. But even people to travel is up to us. When you have travel bans on certain groups of people, that's unacceptable at all. We should all take a very strong position against that. I'm glad that era is about to end in the United States because there is nothing called you deny me of coming anywhere or going anywhere. You know, we were talking about Iran. I visited Iran many times in my life. It's a wonderful place, wonderful people. They need to know the world and the world needs to know them. I even went to North Korea and I've seen the wonderful people of North Korea. You can't isolate people. Now, I'm not a judge of regimes and systems. I will never be. But what I like to do is take any opportunity that any regime allows and make us go open doors and go visit the people. That's the best way to change the people. When the people of North Korea see us, they see that we're real people. We care for them. They care for us. Things there will change faster and better. That's how we should approach things. Now, what is the right circumstances that we're responsible of creating in each country? We should lower the walls between visitors and the local community. There's not a visitor in the developing world is like God coming on earth. It's a blonde person with blue eyes coming from Mars, visiting us. He should be respected and isolated. That's not right. Tourists and visitors are human beings, just like the people in the country are human beings. Therefore, we should lower the walls between them. I always like to say the story that happened with me when I went to visit a country in East Asia. I like to repeat it here to you if my time allows for that. I was visiting Manila, and the lady minister there of the Philippines wanted to take me to see a beautiful project that she thought was going well in an island. This island was turned into a tourism destination by an investor that has put so much money in there. That investor had so much money, so much capital, he was able to make an air link between Manila and that island, a helicopter connection. We went by helicopter, we went there. When we arrived there, the investor was waiting for us at the air helipad. He welcomed us, of course. I understood from them that he had to buy the entire island to make this project. The project was an interesting one. Not my type, but an interesting one. It was Hollywood. It was Disneyland for adults. For example, there were hotels built Mexican style, French style, Chinese style, so on, and restaurants and so forth. It's a whole world in one place. What they didn't tell me at the time was that there were 90,000 people still living on that island. So I got curious. I asked them what happened with these people. The investor, the owner of the island, said, "Don't worry, they're like my children. Don't worry, I take good care of them. All of the people that work in this hotel are from that community. I build schools, I build clinics in that community. I'm taking care of that community." So I asked to go visit that community. He was a bit hesitant, but the minister told him he must go if he wants to go. So I went there. I spent 2 hours. I came back. The minister was having dinner with that gentleman. He said, "What did you see?" I said, "You're right. People there respect you very much and appreciate the fact that you created jobs." But he said, "Oh, there's a but." I said, "There's a big but." He said, "What?" I said, "But I'm not sure creating jobs alone is enough." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm not sure that the children of the community now living there would be happy to spend the rest of their lives working in your hotel, serving the rich people of the world, to come back every day to their homes to see the difference in economic life standards." He said, "Oh, that's serious. So what do you suggest?" I said, "You must encourage your people to go visit that community, to create jobs there, not to bring them to you." He said, "But I'm bringing them here. They're doing well. For example, tonight there is a art, singing and dancing from that community here at the hotel." I say, "It's better to go see it where they live, not to bring them to you here. It's important to lower the walls between the tourists and the local community. That's very important. Today, corporate social responsibility is not about sharing money and sharing your capital, your profits. It's about sharing your business. You have to interact with the local community. You have to make sure the local community benefits from you and sees you as a human being when you go visit there. That's why I too have a reservation like I on the issue of slum tourism, whether it's in India or Brazil, because people there go there just to have pictures with other people. That's not the way to do it. You have to go there with the right attitude. You're right, Ajay. The issue of attitude is absolutely correct. That's what I wanted to say, and thank you so much, everybody. I apologize again for being a bit late. I tried to stay up until 4:30 in the morning, but I couldn't, so I slept and I woke up a bit late. Thank you so much, Lou, for all the good work you're doing. Thank you, Fabio. Thank you, Ajay. Everybody there, thank you, Jürgen, for putting all of this together. Thank you so much,
Thank you
everybody.
very much, Taleb, for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Lou, so if we skip the second part, and anyway, I think that the people more or less talk also about their future plans. So, but if you were going to skip, I would leave you. Probably you want to Jürgen Thomas, to say something also, and
Sure.
and then you can make some final remarks. I suggest to go this way.
Okay, so Louis is going to make the final remarks, I would assume. Or you want me to make the final remarks?
No, I think that Lou wants also you to say a couple of things, even if you introduce very well.
We give him the last word. Okay,
You should say a few words, Jürgen.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then Lou can make the final remarks, of course.
That's right. That's right, Fabio. Correct.
No, yeah. Thank you very much, Lou. And I know there is a long history with Louis D'Amour, and the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism. And I think I first heard you on a radio show here in Hawaii. It was an AM show, and I was driving. And because of you, I was almost driving another round around the island because it was so interesting. And I didn't have AM radio at home. And I made contact, and ever since we're friends and we're working together, and it's really an amazing journey. And Peace to Tourism is so much part of our international travel and tourism industry. It, especially in these times where we go through the worst crisis, unfortunately, and this crisis also brings people together, and this is peace. And so maybe finally the idea of peace for tourism becomes more and more reality in the world. And I'm so glad that, you know, when you were doing this first, when I met you, you were doing it pretty much all alone. And now you have a team from all around the world that works with you, that is dedicated, and I'm very thankful for this. I also wanted to remind everyone on this platform, World Tourism Network, we're very excited to start World Tourism Network. Our official opening event is tomorrow, where we'll introduce our various chapters, our concept, where we'll hear from our founders, and we'll also introduce various interest groups. I hope you will join us. We have an entire month of events. We had many already, and even now it's now 7 in the evening here. We had events all day. We have 2 more coming up tonight. I would like to anyone who wanted to be part of it to register on WTN.travel. Just click on the event page or go to Expo. The next one coming up in just about 50 minutes is about Mafia Island as a model for sustainability in the tourism industry. And Mafia Island is in Tanzania, and the presentation will be by one of our founding members, Peter Byrne. He runs Mafia Island in Tanzania. It'll be very interesting. And after this, we're going to stay in Africa. We're going to Zimbabwe, and we have a presentation by Arvind Naider. He is an Indian guy, but he lives in Zimbabwe for many years and has a tour operator there. And he's talking about Zimbabwe, Africa Paradise presentation. And then tomorrow, our time, we have our launch event at 6 p.m. London time. And the next day is our highlight, really. We have a keynote panel, and this will be with Her Excellency Sheikha Mai bint Mohammed Al Khalifa, and I might pronounce this wrong, but she is the candidate for UNWTO, and we're really hoping, I don't want to sound biased, but I am biased, and I want her to win this race, and she will be on our panel. And I know we have Dr. Taleb Rifai on the panel. We have Walter Manzebi, Alain St. Ange. We have Vijay, who has his own aviation event, and runs our aviation interest group. So it's going to be quite interesting. Also, we have Professor Lipman and Cuthbert Nikubi, who's the chairman of the African Tourism Board. And next week, just look at our calendar. We have events from all over the world, including from our good friend Mona Nafa about the healthiest spot on earth, what is Dead Sea in Jordan, and much more. Just be part of it. And but anyway, so we're talking about peace for tourism. And Louis, I wanted to thank you for 35 years of great service, and you really shaped this industry tremendously. And let's see what we do for the next 35 years. At least our children and grandchildren will see this. And I guess your organization is now really in a stage of expansion, and there's a bright future in this. Thank you again, and thank you everyone for being part of this panel.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas, and thank everyone who participated in the panel, and also those who joined in. I recognized quite a few of you. Unfortunately, we didn't have a chance for anyone to ask questions, but I saw your pictures being present, and thank you for joining us. Taleb, you mentioned your experience in the Philippines. In 1961, I was stationed at Subic Bay in the Marine Corps. And part of my responsibilities was as a liaison officer to the Philippine Marine Corps. I liaised with someone by the name of Captain Rudy Brown, who eventually became Commandant of the Marine Corps.
Yes.
And Subic Bay itself is now a tourism resort. Very interesting, as I think also is the Clark Airfield, which was the U.S. Air Force Base. And let me just mention that it was actually my experience in the Marine Corps that inspired me to do something more positive than fight other people, do something more positive, creating harmony among people. That was what turned out to be my main inspiration and
takes an experience like that.
Star.
Takes an experience like that.
Thomas, congratulations on all these excellent Zoom sessions you're organizing. And Taleb, thank you also for the letter, that open letter that you and Francesco Frangiali wrote today. Very much appreciated. Thank you all for participating. And Thomas, I look forward to taking part in your next session, your keynote session with Taleb and the minister from the Middle East.
Perfect.
Thank you.
God bless everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Lou.
Aloha. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lou.